TV besties, what is going on, y'all? And welcome back to another recap. Hello, if you are new, I'm your girl Ash. Welcome, sit back, relax, get you a drink if you enjoy, get your smoke. It's been a minute since I done did that little spiel. Get your blankie, whatever, get whatever it is you need to help you get comfy, or you very well could be doing some chores, some stuff around the house, multitasking while you listen to this. So that's okay too. I want y'all to, of course, like this video. That definitely helps my channel. And I know y'all want to support me, of course. And you gotta subscribe. And lastly, bang the bell so that you can get notified whenever I drop these videos. Because y'all, one thing about MAFS, I'm gonna do better though. I keep saying I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna do better, but they tend to run a little bit late. These posts end up going out a little bit later than what I desire, but we working on it. We working on getting this one out a little bit more on time, at least by Thursday, Friday, not getting it out by Sunday, Monday of the following week for the last week's episode. But y'all, thanks again for always checking your girl out. So as you can see in the title, Married at First Sight, recap, review. Basically, I'm your TV bestie if you're new here. So basically, it's like some girl time, chit chat, where we just talk it up, chat it up, about what's going on. So just that I'm sitting in your house and we just gossiping about what's been going on in these episodes. Okay. So I think we're like in episode 5 of Marriage at First Sight, y'all. And it's officially, it's all about the journey. Yep. It's all about the journey. Everybody has officially made it to Jamaica, which is where they are having their honeymoon. And let's just go on and get into these couples. Let's just talk about these couples, okay? So just a rundown on what's been going on with our couples here. So talking about Nicole and Chris, they're really like hitting it off and like going deep, getting into those, I don't want to say hard conversations, but really just getting deep into, those conversations, really just talking about, their past, as well as, um, yeah, of course I can't remember it all. It's too much going on in my head right now. But y'all know, like I know he had talked about an ex and his experience, like I guess like worst experience. And she had talked about an ex and like her worst experience. And some of these situations were like, pretty, traumatic. And obviously it's not something that you would talk about on a first date. But they're getting into it. They're jumping into it. I think what I just wonder about them too is Chris is very nice. Chris is very nice, super sweet. And I'm like, okay, is he putting his best foot forward? Is this sweetness gonna eventually like dim down and go away? Or is it gonna be possibly an adverse effect for Nicole, who is, very receptive. She's never really had someone who, dotes on her and speaks such nice and positive things, about her. So I wonder if that nice guyness is she going to get tired of it, basically. Do y'all do you get what I'm saying? Like it's just like you're too nice. And I'm like, Chris, are you just too nice? I really feel like he's a good guy, but the other part is just like, is he too nice, of a guy? But I feel like at this point, only time is gonna tell. It sounds like maybe their biggest mishap right now is kids. He's definitely full on in with wanting kids, where Nicole was more like, for the most part of her life growing up, into as well, sounds like into her adulthood, she didn't want kids. And then I guess as in getting older and then now going through this experience, it has been something that, she's thought about. So she's open to it. Whereas versus he's like a full on yes. And I completely get where he's coming from. Like, before we're all getting like in too deep, and hey, at the same time, it is kind of just like a no. Then again, no. If he's a full on I want kids, when's that timing? What's that timing looking like? I feel him with wanting to get it out there and let's figure this out. Like, is kids a thing or is kids not a thing? Because that might be something that sounds like that he's not, that basically could be a deal breaker for him. Like, I don't think he's willing to compromise really on the kids thing, which I can totally, understand. Nobody's saying that he has to or anything like that, but while it doesn't really seem like they're on a separate or different page, as far as the kids go, because like she said, she's open, he just wants to make sure, I guess, at the end of the day, while open, you're saying you're open, he wants to, I guess, make sure, like, no, like, you're, like, fully, like, onto this. And if y'all hear some background noise, my washer just seems very extra loud to me. Y'all probably cannot hear it, but if you just hear something, that's just what it is. It's probably, I take all noise and think that it's more than what it is, and when I go back and edit it, it's like, but okay. We're gonna focus back into this, but it's beginning of the trip, really, y'all. So they are, of course, they're always just having breakfast together, just stuff like that, and they're starting to go on their, separate, they're going on their little adventures, with their spouses. Because eventually we're going to get to when they start to meet up or whatever and do, not, I guess I wouldn't say necessarily do things together. Well, it kind of is, where the guys get up with the guys and the girls get up with the girls. We know that it's coming, and we also know that that's when we kind of feel like we get like a lot of more tea spilled. So we're gonna see. But I was like, I've personally never been to Jamaica, so I was sitting here like, oh, okay, apparently I just need to go rum tasting, because the guy was like, first off, they had like 6 to 7 shots to take, and it wasn't like no, like wine tasting where you swirl it around, you sip it, you smell it, sip it now. You sip it. No, he's like, no, I want you to get the best of your experience. You're just gonna throw it back. And then it's like no pause in between. He was ready with the next one, ready with the next one. And while Nicole was a bit like, all right, now this is taking me back, she took him like a G. That's my girl, because the age that I'm getting to nowadays, I don't think I could have bucked them shots like that. I don't know if they would have went back that easily. I need a breather. I need a pause. Do you got a chaser for me? I might need a chaser, sir. like, but I enjoyed that. I enjoyed their, that moment of their, like, adventure while in Jamaica. So that's really like my thoughts on where they're at right now. It's basically, Chris is just super nice. Is he really like this all the time? Is it gonna wear? And I don't want it to be something that Nicole necessarily like falls tired of, I guess, necessarily, even though she's thoroughly, enjoying it right now. And then honestly, I think the kids thing is going to be a thing. I don't really think that that's going to be a hindrance in their marriage or them moving forward. I feel like Nicole is pretty definitely in and into him, and I definitely think sometimes maybe the right person can like make you want things that you may not have wanted before. And so that's what I see if anything in regards to their kids talk. So on to our next couple, which is Shaquille and Kirsten, who've finally made it to Jamaica. And y'all, I'm just completely confused by Kirsten, really, because obviously, we know that she wasn't initially attracted going in, and then, even though he technically knew, he kind of didn't. He had already knew, from what it seemed like, from like the after party or whatever, whatnot, that it had come to his attention that she wasn't immediately attracted, or it was like the bald head thing. So she does open up to him herself. That initially she was not attracted because of the whole bald head situation, but really like seeing them interact together, it really feels like that there is some chemistry like going on there, and it possibly could be more, and maybe she does, because there's no kissing, apparently, even there's still no touching, but behind the scenes. But when you get them on camera, it's kind of giving like she's so much more into him than what she's really letting on. And I don't know if she's putting on for the cameras. I don't know if she just doesn't want to embarrass him or make him look away. It's like she definitely admits it's her. Yes, it's definitely her, because I honestly feel like, that Shaquille is a great looking guy. He dresses well, he presents himself well. He's an, educated guy. He's just seems like an, from this and what we see, he just seems like an all around, well put together, guy. The bald head could be gotten across. Like, granted, no. Like, I think I thought I might have had like one bald head in my day, and I didn't even know he was bald head because he always wore a hat, which, should have been my sign there. But I was a little bit young then, so I wasn't thinking stuff like that. I'm thinking, oh, he just like hats, da da da. Jada's dad like cats, but he wasn't bald headed. So lo and behold, though, that he had a bald head, and yes, it did make him look a bit different, and it wasn't necessary, but it wasn't a deal breaker for me. It wasn't a deal breaker for me, but at the same time, I don't have a deal breaker when it comes to hair. So it's kind of like, whereas you don't normally date this person versus having like, I prefer not to date people like this, I guess that can be like a totally different thing. But either way, Shaquille backed it up and confirmed this with us on the after party, that basically it's definitely giving off mixed signals, because it is giving, like, I think sometimes that is that stickiness or whatever, if that's the word that I want to use, where the women might need a little bit more time to come around. And then it's like, okay, as the guy, I want to respect that, but also, when do I be a man and kind of just take that initiative? You get what I'm saying? And I know I don't know. I can see him very well just really just walking on like low key eggshells with Kirsten, especially as far as like what moves he should make moving into the relationship. So I just remember in previews, her basically them meeting with Pastor Cal and saying that, yeah, she's not attracted, or that, basically the physical attraction is not there yet. But it's literally like, y'all are, it doesn't matter the way she talks to him, and the way she just looks at him, it just gives something else. So I'm confused myself, Shaquille, so don't worry, I'm confused right along with you, and maybe the rest of us are our audience too. Like, it's something that's, whatever. But that's my biggest thing with them, is if anything, Kirsten is making this confusing, and I'm not exactly sure like what she wants, what maybe she don't want. Like I gonna say it's not a matter of what you want or what she don't want, but like, what is she really feeling versus what she's not feeling. And I can kind of, I think, what did she say? The podcast lady on the after party, and she was talking about like, no, I don't like the couples telling each other that they're not attracted. I'm kind of like with her, because I do feel like that can help to that physical attraction, whatever. If that's it holds them back. I feel like it can hold the couples back, basically, when either that person knows that you're not attracted, and then like you're hung up in your head because you're not originally attracted. Like, it's given, like, do we even have to talk about it? Why we gotta literally talk about it? Get to know this person. You're married to this person. You're so-called committed to this process. We're not about literally to let these things about each other, because you wouldn't normally date this person, or this is not really your vibe, or whatever. Like, let's not let that hang us up or whatever or whatnot. So whatever. But proud of Shaq, because their adventure was like doing the ATVs, and Shaq was like, I'm cautious. And I ain't gonna hold y'all. I was sitting here like, Shaq, I get it. There's some trauma there, but we gotta work through that. We gotta have some fun. Like, we gotta live a little bit. And he did. He had a little moment. Where he lived, that might be the best of the best of what we gonna get from Shaq. But he still, you know, tried to go in, for her, because the ATV was more Kirsten's idea, versus his. So it does kind of make me wonder, like, yeah, he definitely just looks like an all around, just romantic type of guy. So I definitely think that that is what's going to make this relationship, fun, is her being able to bring out that adventure, in him, with him just being, so cautious, but of course within reason, with all in his comfortability and things like that. But at the same time, sometimes you have to step out of your comfort zone in order to, to really get something out of things. I know y'all know that makes sense. I know y'all know what I mean. So that's Shaq and Kirsten. Let's move on to our next couple. So Gina and Clint, let's go ahead and get the elephant. Let's go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room, because that seemed a bit harsh. Um, there's a way to say things, and at the end of the day, we're literally just catching the snippets and pieces or whatnot. But it was like, well, dang, you could have found a better way, to tell him, about your attraction to gingers and, not initially being attracted to him. And then you said, like, well, that doesn't mean that you're not an attractive guy. I mean, that's just your features. And I'm like, how is he supposed to take that? Now, in her defense, she's just like, we've been completely bluntly honest with each other. We were having banter back and forth, blase, blase, blase. But even Shaq, who was also on the after party too, he was like, yeah, the Clint that I know, yes, that definitely probably was a shot to the ego. Clint says is a man of many words. The fact that he had nothing to say, and that's why I was just like, and maybe while yes, I might have been having this banter, maybe it was unexpected. Again, maybe it was just how you said it. So looking forward into next week or this coming up Wednesday, it's definitely having me like, okay, so is his response, or now him talking about what his type was, is that because again he felt some type of way about what he said, so she said, so it was just like a defense response about what he liked, what his usual type is? Or is this them just like messing with each other because this is like, their banter? They both admit that the physical attraction, isn't boom, it isn't crazy, whatever, but they're open to, where things can go. Talking about, especially, talking about their lifestyle, how, they can, bring that together. And Clint, as you can tell, like he can be like a wild card. Like he's like, I feel like spirit of the moment. I think they called him like mysterious or whatever or whatnot. Like on a more of like, surprises. Like, and she's versus like more structured. So I feel like those are both things as well that they could help like to pass, to each other. But at the same time, it's like, okay, does Clint need that structure and thing? Or is it more just like, I know when to just let go, versus Gina, who was like, nope, we're gonna dot every I, we're gonna make a list, we're gonna da 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 da, So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Other than that, like they definitely had an adventure since getting, to Jamaica. I had noticed, but I didn't notice. But I noticed because I was just like, I thought this is this normally how they dress. But at the same time, I was like into the show, so I wasn't necessarily looking into their dress. But basically, their luggage had gotten, I won't say lost, but basically held up in their transport, to Jamaica. So they went 3 days, without their luggage. And then as well, like their adventure got like way like taken off course, like they were lost, whatever. So it's definitely a lot of, I feel like, pressures and a lot of unfortunate events happening just as that they're like getting to know each other. And I definitely feel like that was really going to speak volumes as far as like how they were going to react to it. And both of them were, pretty chill, just going with the flow, going with it, not really, making even a big, deal about, not having luggage, because they don't even talk about the fact that they did not have luggage in this episode. We found this information out during the after party. So the fact that they don't even mention it, and then just even the way that they were talking about, being lost in Jamaica, I'm just like, okay, well, we saw some bars, we saw some billards. So while we did get off track, we're gonna still make the most of it, and we're gonna roam around and just sightsee, whatever. So I love that for them. I love that for them, that they were able to get through that, because I definitely felt like that could have been a, had that possibly, like, boom, yeah, had that been like Kirsten, yeah, it would not have went down so calmly, you know like that. So I really feel like that really helped to maybe show them, basically like show them, something in as far as like their relationship, and how they can work together, and how they basically, how they move under pressure, when things aren't necessarily going the way that things supposed to go, especially because Gina likes structure and things like that. So it was cool that she was still able to just to like flow with it, go with the flow, because I'm pretty sure as a structured person, your luggage doesn't arrive, that's definitely going to unstructure the rest of what's going on, if the structure is that deep, I guess. So we'll see. We'll just see. Like, everything seems to be making okay, I guess, at this point, right? It's just like, all right, how are they gonna move, or what's really the background behind the is Clint really feeling some type of way? I guess we're gonna find out this week, as far as like the whole attraction thing. All right, and so which Dominic and McKinley, like, it's given like, I'll be glad. It's like it's good that they kind of give us slight spoilers, because it's definitely gonna keep us in and keep us watching. But at the same time, it's giving me like, I wish they would not have, because now I know that this is doomed. I can't get it out of my head, and so I'm reading too much possibly into what I'm seeing, but and then I'm then upset, because it's really like they really seem to be having chemistry, getting to know each other. It's looking good. But on the flip side of that, I'm like, is she being fake? Is she really into him? Like, because I mean, come on, guys. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. We seen the preview. We seen the preview of Dominique and Clint kissing. Why are y'all kissing? And why is Jasmine and Eris in the back, like, and Jasmine is like, oh, giddy, 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 as if they're supposed to be kissing? What is really going on here, y'all? We can't unsee that. We can't unsee that now. And once I seen that, I was just like, how can I really sit here and take this relationship seriously? I really honestly probably can't even give y'all anything about them, because besides the fact that they really seem to be getting along, getting to know each other, the chemistry, is flowing. I feel like she is more like checking him to kind of like make sure, because she's like, I can fish, I clean my fish, I da 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 da, and I expect him to be able to pull his weight the same way, and I cook this and I cook that, and stuff that he's never had before, and just like, and I'm like, I just feel like she's like, is he able to hold his own? Is he able to hold his own weight? Though, even still saying this about them, about their chemistry and all that, it's still kind of like there's a bit of awkwardness still to them. Or is it just me? Like, I don't know, but all I can just say is I cannot unsee Dominique kissing Clint. And I'm just like, so y'all just gonna throw that out there for us, and then we just supposed to like sit and watch this relationship and take this relationship seriously, when clearly on the back end something is going on, something has happened, and we are just the ones that are not privy to it. And it makes me so upset. It makes me so upset, y'all. But okay, let's be serious. Let me see what notes I really did take about them. Yeah, that was like basically it. Oh, and the fact that um, they caught Dominique Buckle on the cobblestone. Like, one, I laughed, but I completely understood. I completely understood what she went through, because every girl knows. that it is never safe to walk on cobblestone road when you have heels on. It's literally like, as a group, we need to arm in arm. We need to hold hands. My man, you need to hold me tight, because them little, the way the rope, you gonna buckle if you're not taking your time. If you not, and then she already was looking like she could barely even walk in the shoes, because I feel like even when they weren't, or maybe she almost tripped twice on the cobblestone, or maybe when they were just walking somewhere after the cobblestone, they were walking somewhere else, and then she darn near almost fell, tripped, like what like, it's giving, girl, if the heels is too much, just say they're too much. But right now, like, you at least hold on to him, because I don't think they were really holding hands. I'm like, at least hold on to him so you have some little bit of leverage. You look like you might know a little bit of how to walk right now, and then if you do trip up, you can kind of blame him for your reason for tripping up. So yeah, y'all, I seen the kiss, and how do we move on from there? How do we move on from there? So, what was our last couple? So what? Yes, that was our last couple at Eris and Jasmine, and I think Jasmine is very attentive, to Eris. Eris admitted that he has not fallen in love before, and I'm like, and ooh. But I feel like that wasn't news to us, right? I feel like that was something that they had talked about, in like the matchmaking process, excuse me, just stuff like that. So in the beginning, of the episode. So now coming out to Jasmine about it, I think it was just like because we're getting her reaction, and she's a bit, because, right, like, we're giving off another Mitch, a 40-year-old man who has not been in love. And I honestly feel like, if I'm thinking correctly, for the people who've never been in love, that doesn't usually end well. They don't end well in this process. If y'all know differently, y'all make sure let me know, down in the comments below. I think their adventure, they were in the water for their adventure. I think like the snorkeling and seeing like the sea floor and like stuff like that, and all the nice fishy animals or whatever or whatnot, which is cool. But that definitely like took the cake. I definitely feel like, you know, Jasmine is, feeling the pressure. And even like she went on and jumped the gun and was just like, okay, with that being said, how does this affect, your decision day? Do you expect to be in love by the end of decision day? If you're not in love, is that going to impact your decision? Which is great questions to ask. I feel like that they were, great questions to ask, but at the same time, for people of his age, and they talk about never being in love, it does make me wonder, maybe you might just not know what that feeling feels like, so I definitely can't wait till, they start sitting down with Pastor Cal and start, getting into this stuff, these conversations, things that they're not talking about, start getting into the, I think is that Dr. Pepper? They got another person for that. I usually have like another like sex person for like getting into like their intimacy, and just stuff like that. So it's gonna be interesting. I don't know, as much as I really feel like though that they make Eris and Jasmine make a nice looking cute couple. I don't have much faith into this relationship, y'all. But everything is sounding good. They're talking about, how busy she is, and he's, talking, and how he's willing to, pick up, some of those roles, her mom going through chemotherapy, and, maybe him going with her, doing that sometimes, or walking her, 20 dogs, or, just being that support, being that backbone, for her, and just showing up when, she can't. So, it's all nice. It all sounds good, but it's like, we're gonna see, y'all. We're gonna see. So, that's all I think I got for y'all for this week, for last week's or episode 5's episode. Y'all make sure y'all drop me down some comments below. Let me know your thoughts, how you're feeling about these couples so far, and anything that's came up in this episode. And as always, peace, love y'all. I'll see y'all in the next one. Did I say peace already? I did.